Hey dudes, my name's Blekoh, and I've been steamrolling ahead on my game X Versa, which if you've seen my previous videos, you'd know I've mostly been staying within my little test area. But it's time to broaden our horizons and see the world. And when I think of the world, I think of trees. And what has trees? Forests. In fact, I feel like most great games at some point have a sweet forest that draws you in. So of course I want X Versa to have an immersive forest as well. So here's what I've done so far. Alright, so if you want a sweet forest, where do you start? Well, I've been working on X Versa for quite a while, so I roughly knew how I wanted to lay the forest out, but I didn't have any of the art for it. So first things first, I need a tile set. This would let me create the ground and make any of the needed pathways that characters would walk on. Then I could make the decorative art like trees and stuff later to go on top of it. I started working on a tile set with a few grass tiles and tiles to make the pathways, but I kinda came to a point where looking at the tile set, I just knew I wasn't gonna be happy with the end result.
This sucks.
It's not really that it was bad, I mean, it's not great, but I want X Versa to be a more modern looking pixel art game, and a basic tile set is really not gonna get me there. So then I started playing around with some different techniques in Aseprite, which is what I use to make my pixel art. Specifically, I played with the brush feature. Essentially, you can just make a little pattern and select it, and then you can paint with that pattern. So I made a grass pattern and used it to make a new grass tile, which I was a lot happier with. Alright, sweet. So I have my grass tile, but I need something I can make paths with. But at this point, I kinda realized I really should have started by finding good forest reference images, since this would help me make a coherent forest, but better late than never. One of my big inspirations as far as artwork goes is Studio Ghibli, and a while back, a friend of mine got me this sweet art book for Princess Mononoke, which has all sorts of cool things in it about how they made the art for the anime, which is absolutely perfect, because Princess Mononoke has really cool forests throughout the whole movie. So I grabbed some reference images for some of the forest in there, and I was back in business, baby! So the type of forest I wanted to go for has a pretty rocky forest floor, so that's what I went for as the type of pathway. And with that, I was ready to spoop up the ground in my forest. Once the ground was made, I made a few trees, which I had little rocks and bushes sit next to them to add a little bit of flavor. Which it turns out, little bushes and stuff are super easy to make with the brush technique. And once the trees were made, I made the upper canopy, since my trees have leaves. To spice things up, I threw a shader on the leaves so they move like there's wind, and then I added some lighting and particles, and I even added some cool interactive flowers that move around and whatnot. Shout out to this dude's video for that sweet tutorial. Anyway, well, it all came together pretty quickly, so here's the final result. Alright, so it could probably still use some tweaking, and so far it's just a single room of the whole forest. But I think it looks pretty cool, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. On a side note, I just want to say thanks to all the people who have subscribed so far. It's been super motivating. Anyway dudes, that's it. See ya!